wouldn't start the Prince Albert Challenge Cup. Now this is the men's student cox sports with Adams House, Harvard University versus Brown University, a American University showdown. Brown have got the big B on their shirt, so it's going to be keeping it really simple for us to commentate on the right of your screen here. And they look like both crews had a very clean, good start.
Yeah, what's noting though, Adams House, it's not the Harvard University Boat Club, it's not the Crimson that we've seen racing in this regatta and has raced in other years gone by. It's one of their, it's their house boat club. So effectively, you look at Durham University or Oxford or Cambridge, it's like one of the colleges. I think it's probably the best UK comparison that we've got coming over and racing. But they are a quick crew, they're out in front. And by the Brown crew that they're up against, coached by Rufus Briggs, is by no means slouches. It's comprised of athletes who are racing their second and third varsity A's throughout this year. But at the moment, it's that crew from Adams House, Harvard University, out in front in this heat of the Prince Albert.
A great shot there of you eagle-eyed people. This crew's actually Cox. So if you look there towards the bows and the back of their boat, they've got a little head poking up. That's like Coxswain, who's really in basically the belly of the boat, sitting there. They've got a little rudder. Normally these Cox's boats, you have a rudder wire attached to someone's foot and they swing it around to steer the boat, but this time round the Cox boats, there's no pressure on the rowers. They can just row as hard as possible and let that Cox steer them. But it does make the crew a little bit heavier. They've got to carry someone along, a slower moving boat.
And it's a unique position that Cox is in, because while we've talked about the rowers being able to see their opposition, look back and beating out, the Cox has got to glance around and almost rely actually on the athlete who's sat at bow. So for this crew from the United States, from Adams House that we have in front of us, their Cox Catherine Engels has got to rely on Henry Baillieu just to feed some information back to how far ahead of Brown that they find themselves in, just to keep the Cox fully aware of what's going on in the course.
Really a little bit thrown in there, a little bit of motivation. As rowers, you can always be self-motivated. We saw some single sculls earlier. There's no noise in their boats, it's just all in their head. But these bigger boats with the Coxswain, they can tell them, let's get this, let's keep going, give me more. I can see the power, I can see the rate, give me a little bit more. They're encouraging and really pushing their crew to unleash every single watt possible.
Yeah, interesting there, just in the Brown boat, the head of their Cox is just sticking up a little bit higher, not quite able to get quite as low down as Catherine Engels in the Adams House boat there. I suppose it comes down to personal preference, comfort as to what the Cox will like most.
You seem quite upright there in that Brown boat. EJ Ramakrishnan. There's probably some way to say what's the most aerodynamic, but you've also got 4 huge rowers behind you, so maybe that's thrown out the window.
And we said earlier on, this Brown crew is no slouches, packed full of talent from Brown's varsity 8s that have raced throughout the season. But also domestically, a couple of these athletes are homegrown UK talent. Adam von Bismarck in the bow seat of Westminster School. Dominic Vald, their stroke man, has won Championship 8s at the National Schools Regatta and set a record in 2019 from St Paul's. So a huge crop of talent on board with his Brown University crew, but they're being turned over at the moment by the crew from Adams House, Harvard.
Maybe somewhat unexpected there. We've got this absolutely huge crew here from Brown University. They're pitted with junior and 23 internationals, and this Adams House Harvard University crew are in control.
Yes, they absolutely are. And for their Cox, Catherine Engels, looks like she'll be the first athlete across the line. She walked onto the Harvard University men's heavyweight crew team back in 2021. So this is only her 2nd season coxing, and to be doing that at the Henley Royal Regatta course, out in front, winning this heat. They beat Cambridge University yesterday by just over 2 lengths, and it looks like they will be beating Brown University once again in the Prince Albert Challenge Cup.
The face of Catherine Engels from Akron, Ohio, and LeBron James is from. coincidentally, taking the win there in the Prince Albert Challenge Cup. Adams House Harvard over Brown University, USA.